Hi, horror enthusiasts. Welcome to Conan Show. Today I've picked 5 terrifying videos that guarantee to be unforgettable. Subscribe now for a night of horror. Number 5. In August, a Twitter user named Adam Ellis began talking about David, the child with a caved-in head who first appeared in a very realistic nightmare. Through a series of vivid dreams, Adam discovered that David had died in a terrible incident. The dreams of David's disfigured image were so real they kept Adam awake at night. When his cats started gathering around his door at midnight, sometimes all 4 of them, he realized that David was more than just his imagination. His pets weren't just staring at the door, they were communicating with something on the other side. Adding to the unsettling atmosphere, I would definitely be concerned if my cat sounded like this at the same time every night. And then it moves even closer. Cats are supposed to be very in tune with the supernatural, and since this is always at the front door, it looks like David is trying his best to move in. The unsettling dreams persisted throughout the midnight visits for the entire month without easing. However, it wasn't until Adam went on a business trip that the paranormal activities significantly escalated. While attempting to monitor his cats using a home camera system, he unexpectedly found himself observing David's actions. Seizing the opportunity, the spirit seemed to claim Adam's apartment in his absence. Evidence of this unfolds in a live feed recorded in August, revealing a green chair rocking mysteriously with no one present. Despite closed windows before his trip, the chair's movement is followed by a turtle shell inexplicably falling behind the bookshelf. Initially frightened, Adam decides to put away his phone, trying to forget about these incidents for the rest of his vacation. These strange occurrences, both individually peculiar, continued in rapid succession, creating a series of bizarre events. The madness persisted until one October night when David seemingly emerged from Adam's dreams to appear outside his window. A faint image of a child, identified as David by Adam, is captured in a photo, later enhanced by a Twitter user for clarity. Even though it appears like a doll, David's head is intact, contradicting the earlier narrative. In November, David allegedly materializes in Adam's apartment, inducing a sense of paralysis. Despite this, Adam manages to use his hands to grab his phone and take well-centered photographs of David supposedly crawling towards him. The images, taken at different heights, raise questions about the consistency of the account. While the details don't align perfectly, Adam insists that the events, including someone peeking through his bedroom window, are genuine nightmares. Years later, Adam maintains the authenticity of these experiences. Number 4. Lainey and Ben make YouTube and TikTok videos. They often talk about a ghost in their home, but they say it's a friendly spirit that just plays small tricks. In their first TikTok video, they quickly start recording when their ceiling lamp and living room start moving. Some might think it's the wind, but it's quiet, and the plants next to the TV stay still. If a window or door was open, we'd hear outside sounds and things in the room would move. Or soon after, a picture frame falls, making the couple laugh nervously.
What? Oh, my heart.
The picture frame moves to the right after falling, and then the video stops. It's good to see them not scared and reacting genuinely. Even though they're used to it now, it still excites them and gives a bit of a shock, a refreshing change from people running away in other videos. We don't blame those who choose to do that, but the next experience wasn't as amusing. One night, Lainey heard sounds from under their loft.
As Lainey is getting out of bed to investigate, she can hear the door at the bottom of the stairs click its latch.
In the video, orbs are visible, but their movement suggests they're likely dust, not something paranormal. Yet, the explanation doesn't cover the odd noises. Lainey heads to the top of the stairs, pausing, and then hears the latch again.
I swear that was the stairs.
As if the door's being either opened or closed downstairs, she discovers it partially open. Curious, she cautiously steps outside, almost anticipating someone's presence. However, she finds nothing and decides to return to bed. On her way back upstairs, she hears what seems like footsteps, followed by the door sound again.
It's just me.
friend.
Right away, she pleads with whatever's there to leave them alone, then hurries back to bed. Talking about doors, it seems like this ghost struggles with them. Ben begins recording the door between their kitchen and entranceway, watching as it starts making noises. It sounds like it's being pushed without the handle turning. After some confusion, both Ben and Lainey are surprised when the handle starts moving on its own. Ben quickly goes to check, but he finds nothing.
That was you.
No,
I thought that was you in the kitchen.
no.
Oh, great. Oh, that was weird.
He opens the door too quickly for someone on the other side to hide or run upstairs, making it unlikely to be a hoax. The handle moved forcefully, with no visible strings indicating manipulation. It's possible the ghost was genuinely confused about the door. Ben and Lainey are a duo worth watching, regularly sharing uploads about their paranormal experiences. Who knows what else they will come across? Number 3. At first glance, Corsun's content doesn't seem like something we would talk about on this platform. However, he has a series of videos where he shares his experiences with paranormal activity at home. As a Marine veteran, Corey uploads various content, including short skits, game footage, and random fun stuff. On February 18, 2014, he posted something unique on his channel. Corey explains that he had just started recording with his camera to capture the dining room lights swinging on their own. Right when he hit record, one of the chairs moved by itself from under the Confused, Corey approached to check what was happening. After kicking the table away from him, it promptly slid back towards him. Until this point, Corey remained relatively calm and didn't completely freak out. It's important to note that he was in the Marines, possibly exposed to numerous tense situations. His ability to stay composed when others might panic is understandable. The movement of the chair was erratic, ruling out the possibility of it being manipulated by strings or similar means. While it made sense when it moved away from the table, it doesn't explain how it moved toward him. With no space behind and no visible manipulation, this incident was just the first of several. Another compelling event occurred on May 7, 2014, when Corey, experiencing issues with a storage drawer constantly opening on its own, set his camera to record before leaving to work out. As he left, the door opened mysteriously, seemingly pushed from the inside without the doorknob turning. This couldn't be easily dismissed as a random occurrence. Throughout his life, Corey has lived in haunted homes, suggesting a possible connection with the paranormal. In November of the same year, in the garage replacing the garbage bin, the garage door opened on its own. Despite checking the CCTV, Corey found no one outside. He explained the 3 ways to open the garage, and it appeared unlikely that someone manipulated it from outside. Corey, perplexed but unharmed, considered the presence to be either a prankster or genuinely confused about the situation. What are your thoughts? Number 2. Our next entry brings us back to Dark Ghost, a Russian paranormal investigator who has encountered some genuinely frightening entities. However, his latest video might just take the cake, as he describes it as the scariest house he has ever investigated. An email with coordinates led Dark Ghost to the specified location. According to the message, the sender, a girl, claimed that an elderly couple once lived there and experienced numerous disturbing occurrences, primarily in the home's basement. These included unexplained noises, full conversations, and something attempting to open the basement from below. After the couple passed away, their relatives inherited the home, but they refused to move in. Consequently, the house has been abandoned ever since. Dark Ghost's investigation starts off quietly, and he mentions not experiencing anything unusual as it's already getting late. He then proceeds to set up stationary cameras, and that's when the activity begins. Shortly after he leaves the room, the static camera captures a glass moving on its own, sliding close to the edge of the shelf it's on. None of the other glasses are disturbed, and it wasn't knocked by anything, as it wouldn't slide in such a manner if it were. It's like something is pushing or pulling the glass, then it tips off the edge and breaks. Dark Ghost was in the middle of explaining to his camera what he did when he heard the glass break, and that's when things get really crazy. Without warning, the whole house starts shaking aggressively, causing bricks to collapse from the ceiling.
что, друзья, все рушится.
This lasts only a few seconds before ending suddenly. Dark Ghost, well stunned but thankfully uninjured, moves in to assess the damage. As he inspects the kitchen where the static camera is placed, he is startled by what sounds like a floorboard being pushed up, followed by several loud bangs from the other room. The sound is either like a fist pounding against a wall or floor or very heavy footsteps, but it is difficult to tell. Inspired by what has happened, Dark Ghost decides to start an EVP session, trying to communicate with whatever is there.
Кто вы?
He begins by asking if anyone from the spirit world is present. Despite getting no immediate answer, the device eventually responds with "Help us." He keeps asking the entity to identify itself, and shortly after, it replies, "We've been trapped." When asked where, it says, "He trapped us down here." Earlier, when Dark Ghost heard the floorboard move, it got covered in rubble. It once again requests help and asks Dark Ghost to open the basement. However, 30 seconds after making this request, something else seems to come through and says, "Don't open it," followed by their lying. To Califers, it's evident that multiple spirits are communicating, each with conflicting requests. After several more requests to open the basement, an entity responds with a chilling phrase, "I will deliberately eat your heart."
Я сейчас, друзья, специально...
By now, it is clear that one of the entities there has malicious intent against Dark Ghost. Initially, stating he won't open the basement, he receives some talk back, and curiosity gets the better of him. He decides to lift the floorboard and venture down. At first, he attempts to use an RC car fitted with a camera, but unfortunately, the camera battery dies. Despite his better judgment, he ventures down himself. After a few minutes of crawling without incident, he stumbles across a small bone in the dirt. As he takes a closer look, a sudden noise, as if something hitting metal, can be heard in front of him. At the same moment on his stationary camera, which was pointed towards the basement, a shadow figure can be seen against the cupboards in the kitchen. As it vanishes, he emerges and claims to have heard hissing from below. As he is working to get the boards back in place, a very loud hiss sends him rushing out of the hole. This proves to be all he can take for his safety. He returns the board to the floor and decides to leave it for the night. Something in the home clearly wants out and to cause harm. One must wonder who the other poor soul trapped with it is, willing to warn others not to fall for the lies. The other spirit says, Number 1. A YouTuber named Grasshopper recorded something strange in his house during a short vacation. He had installed a new security camera to monitor his housekeeper, but it ended up capturing some really spooky moments. This creepy doll seemed to move on its own, and Grasshopper believed it was a ghost. However, I thought someone might be hiding around the corner with a string, so I'm not convinced it's solid paranormal evidence. But around 2 minutes into the video, the doll even seemed to wave, "Hello," which was weird. Unless it's just where the string is tied, it could be fake. Unfortunately, the video doesn't include footage of the other room to prove no one is there. There are other strange occurrences, like a glare from the TV turning on by itself or with a remote control. Objects like a cushion and another item fall seemingly on their own, but it's possible they are manipulated with strings. Take a closer look at how the water bottle moves, especially how it lands. At seconds, the falling object appears to catch on nothing, almost like a ghost pushed it over and caught it in midair. Meanwhile, in the other room, a ghost opens the door and slams it shut. Then the ghost moves more objects, a cabinet, a cup, a red box, and other household items, all moving on their own. But there's a big problem. Something just doesn't add up. The camera angle looks slightly different than before, so unless the housekeeper readjusted the camera, I doubt this amateur ghost video is real. Then again, with all the other creepy stuff happening, I suppose a moving camera is well within the realm of possibilities.